She walked in like a whisper in a world that only knew how to scream. Small, quiet, barely noticed. The others laughed before she even dropped her bag. They didn't need to know her name. They already decided who she was. Useless. But no one laughed when the officer yanked up her sleeve and saw it. KEL-013. The room went still. The air thickened. Minutes later, the sky cracked open with the roar of rotors. A military helicopter descended like judgment from above. Out stepped a general, boots heavy on the dust, eyes sharp as blades. "Whoever bears that code," he said, voice cutting through the silence like steel through skin, "answers only to me." Her name, Sarah Mitchell, 28 years old, brown hair like storm clouds falling over her shoulders, eyes that held secrets even shadows were afraid to carry. And just like that, the world shifted. In a camp built for warriors, Sarah was a ghost among giants. Her uniform was worn, not from neglect, but from time. Like it had seen things these boys couldn't dream of. No makeup, no attitude, just silence. The kind that chills your spine. They called themselves the best. Tall, muscular, confident, built for battle, bred for glory. And then there was her, assigned to the lowest ranked squad, the stragglers. Nobody asked why. They just assumed she was weak. Roll call came. The squad leader didn't even look at her. "Mitchell, stay out of the way." His voice echoed across the gravel yard like a verdict. One recruit leaned toward his buddy, smirk crawling across his face. "Bet she's here for diversity points. Can't even carry her own bag." Sarah didn't flinch. She adjusted the strap on her rucksack. Slow, deliberate. Fell into line at the very back. The others marched ahead, their boots kicking up dust like war drums. She kept pace, step steady, face blank. But if you looked close enough, you'd see her fingers tighten around the strap, just for a second, then let go. Like she was holding something inside, something dangerous. That night, laughter spilled from the barracks like blood from a wound. Recruits swapped stories like trophies. Hometowns, old girlfriends, dreams of command. Sarah sat alone on a bench, sharpening a small knife against a wet stone. The sound cut through the dark. Rhythmic. Cold. Tyler approached. Wiry. Loud. Dangerous. He snatched the blade from her hand, holding it up to the moonlight. "What's this? Your kitchen knife?" He sneered. "You gonna peel potatoes for us, Mitchell?" His friends laughed. One mimicked chopping motion. Sarah lifted her eyes, slow, unblinking, palm up, waiting. Tyler tossed the knife into the dirt instead, spat at her feet. "Pick it up, princess." She didn't move, just stared, silence heavier than any curse. Tyler's grin faltered. He turned away, his buddies jeering behind him. Sarah bent down, retrieved her blade, went back to sharpening. Sound unchanged, as if nothing had happened, as if she hadn't just carved a hole in every laugh. Later in the mess hall, voices clashed like swords. Guys boasted about scores, hometowns, dreams of climbing ranks. Sarah sat alone again, at the end of a long table, tray bare, a single slice of bread, black coffee. A female soldier, sharp ponytail, sharper tongue, stopped beside her. She looked Sarah up and down, snorted. "Why does the army even accept trash like her? Did you pull that uniform out of a dumpster?" Laughter erupted. Sarah didn't look up. She tore off a piece of bread, chewed slowly. Eyes never left her tray. The woman waited, expecting rage, tears, anything, but none came. She rolled her eyes, walked off. "Pathetic," she muttered. Sarah's hand paused over her cup. Then she picked it up, took a sip, as if she'd tasted worse. The sun hung like a blade overhead, slicing light across the range. Dust danced in the air like ghosts caught between lives. The recruits gathered around for the surprise sniper trial, meant for veterans, not trainees. They were expecting a joke. Then Sarah stepped forward, rifle in hand, face unreadable, eyes locked on the targets. Laughter rose from the crowd. "Let her try," Marcus sneered, still bitter from the GPS incident. She'll miss every shot. Sarah didn't flinch, didn't blink, just loaded her rifle with a quiet, practiced motion. The first target appeared, small, fast, distant. Crack. It dropped. Crack. Another one gone. Crack. 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 5 shots, 5 kills in 6 seconds. Silence fell like snow over a battlefield. Even the wind seemed to stop. The range officer stared at his clipboard, jaw slack. The recruits stood frozen, mouths open, eyes wide like they'd seen something impossible. And then came the sound of boots on gravel. General Hamilton, tall, sharp, carved from stone, walked down from the observation deck. He didn't clap, he didn't speak. Instead, he lifted Sarah's wrist, stared at the code. His eyes widened, just slightly. Then he let go. "Mitchell," he said, voice low but clear. "Report to my office, now." No one moved, no one laughed. Sarah nodded once, then turned and walked away. Her boots crunched against the gravel like gunshots. By dinner, the mess hall was buzzing. "She's a plant," one recruit whispered. "No way, Special Forces," another guessed. But someone else shook their head. "She's too small, too quiet." Lucas, loud, arrogant, angry, refused to believe it. After dinner, he stormed into the barracks holding a printed sheet like it was proof. "This is fake," he shouted, slamming it onto the table. "I found her file. No military history, no clearance. She's probably a spy." He turned to Sarah, who sat lacing her boots without a word. "You don't belong here, 13. He grabbed her name tag and tore it in half, tossing the pieces to the floor. Sarah didn't move. She finished tying her boots, then reached into her pocket, pulled out a coin-sized black token, dropped it onto the floor. Clink. The room went cold. Everyone recognized it. A ghost unit command token. Whispers had followed that symbol for years. Power, secrets, consequences. Lucas took a step back. His face went white. Sarah didn't look at him. She just slung her bag over her shoulder and walked out. Step steady, head high. Behind her, silence clung to the walls like blood. The next morning during inspection, Lucas's locker was opened. Inside, a stolen encryption key, one capable of compromising the entire base. It wasn't Sarah's doing, not directly, but the officer who found it glanced at her once before hauling Lucas away. Nobody spoke. Nobody defended him. Later that day, the recruits avoided her eyes. Even Brady, the officer who'd mocked her tattoo, kept his distance. Tension lingered in the air like smoke after a fire. Everyone waited, for her to slip up, for the truth to come out, for the other shoe to drop. And then, it did. The arrival. Just after noon, the sky split open with the roar of rotors. A black helicopter touched down in the middle of the field, kicking up dust and gravel. Out stepped General Hamilton, crisp uniform, chest heavy with medals. He didn't glance at the stunned recruits. He walked straight to Sarah. She stood near the edge of the field, hands clasped behind her back. He stopped in front of her. "Tell 1-3, he said clearly. "You are hereby recalled. As of now, this base is under your command." He handed her a sealed directive, the kind of document that could start or end wars. Then he turned to the crowd. "Anyone who disrespects her, your names will be filed at the ministry." Sarah didn't speak. She just took the directive, faced the command tent, walked away. Behind her, the recruits stood frozen. Lucas was already gone. Derek, the guy who called her dead weight, stared at the ground. Brady looked like he might be sick. Nobody moved. Nobody dared. The blades of the helicopter kept spinning, a low hum that filled the silence. The consequences came fast. Derek vanished by the next day, his name stripped from the roster after a review exposed falsified training logs. Carter, the woman who'd mocked Sarah's uniform, was reassigned to a desk job. Her name became a cautionary tale whispered in the halls. Brady got a formal reprimand. His promotion delayed indefinitely. A viral post on a military forum exposed his history of hazing recruits, ending his credibility forever. Nobody said it was Sarah's doing. Nobody had to. The truth was out, and it was heavier than anyone expected. She wasn't just a recruit. She was Ghost Viper 014, a name that carried weight in rooms most of them would never see. Sarah didn't stay long. She led the camp for a week, her orders quiet but absolute. Nobody questioned her. Nobody dared. When she left, it was in the same helicopter that brought Hamilton. Bags slung over one shoulder, face unreadable. The recruits watched her go, eyes wide, voices silent. She didn't look back. In the weeks that followed, the camp changed. The laughter died down. The boasting got quieter. People started asking questions before judging. Not because they were better, because they'd seen what happened when they weren't. Sarah's name became more than a name. It became a story, a warning, a legend. Not about her tattoo, not about her kills, not even about the general who bowed to her. It was about how she stood there, day after day, taking the hits without breaking. About how she held her ground, not with words, not with fists, but with something deeper, something real. To everyone who's ever been called less than you are, who's been pushed to the back, who's been laughed at for simply existing, this story is yours. You know what it feels like to carry the weight of other people's words. You know what it means to keep walking anyway. You're not alone in that. You never were. Wherever you're watching from, leave a comment below, hit follow, and walk with me through heartbreak, betrayal, and finally, healing.